Good morning. Continuing with my robe series of La Santa Muerte. Today we are going to do the blue robe Azul. Traditionally, with Santa Muerte, signifies wisdom, focus. It's good for studying, mental clarity. I would consider this the philosopher's robe or the artist's robe, and we'll get into why. She is helpful for integrating and comprehending new information or new knowledge so that you make wise decisions with said knowledge. Very good for philosophers or students, people studying the occult, people studying religion, especially. Generally, in spirituality, we associate blue with like inner peace and serenity. Also, with certain robes in certain religions, we would associate that color robe with authority and tranquility. Blue is very popular in the mental health industry and psychiatric hospitals or hospitals in general for this reason. The color theory indicates that blue is very calming and also gives us a sense of peace. In Catholicism, blue is often used to represent the bridge between humanity and the divine. So like a lot of saints incorporate blue in their statues, etc. Especially Mother Mary is associated with the color blue. Blue is a representation of the sky. Everything that we associate with what heaven is associated with the sky and therefore the color blue. Blue is also used in the evil eye ward to ward against the evil eye. That's often why you'll see that ring of blue around the outside of it. Blue is also the color of the throat chakra, communication, self-expression, truth. So a lot of artists and writers will use this color robe, and they often spend a lifetime making sure that that chakra is in balance. Because imbalance of the throat chakra leads to like lying, compulsive lying, fear of speaking, or like being a gossiper, which we consider to be the evil tongue, not just the evil eye, but the evil tongue. So this robe and chakra work is great for artists, especially writers, poets, painters, people who don't often speak verbally. It's great for them. But of course, those who do like theater or singing or whatever, this is also a wonderful chakra to use. You can combine this robe with chakra work using journaling, singing, humming, chanting, rosary, right? Rosary affirmations, or to prepare to give a public speech for whatever reason. The chakra and this color are both ruled by Mercury, which is the communication planet. So if you want to get into astrology a bit there, that's what that's all about. The crystals that work really well would be lapis lazuli, which as we know is often associated with Santa Muerte anyway. So that's a great stone to use in conjunction with this robe, especially if you're doing chakra work. You can also use turquoise, especially if you are more pulled to indigenous roots or you're an indigenous American. Turquoise is a great option. Aquamarine and blue agate. Getting into some numerology and associating all this with the tarot, we do have the number 5, which in the major arcana is the Hierophant, symbolizing not just spiritual knowledge, but tradition and like institutions of religion and spirituality, conventional structures, dogma. Interesting thing is that 5 in numerology is all about change and like breaking out of those structures, freedom, adventure, being adaptable, taking risks. So in theory, you could use the blue robe with the Hierophant reversed for the number 5 to promote effective change within institutions, educational or religious or health institutions, effective communication with the appropriate symbology. 5 can also be associated with the Hindu god Shiva and his 5 faces, those 5 faces being spirit, grace, healing, creation, and destruction. And maybe some of you are wondering why I always relate Santa Muerte back to these things. And it's because Santa Muerte, I mean, life and death is universal. Okay, it makes sense to incorporate all of these connections as a devotee, to respect the universal knowledge of colors, symbolism, numbers, etc. If you do these things correctly, you can't go wrong. 5 also being associated with Venus and Aphrodite energy, love, desire, charm. In theory, you could use this energy, this number with the blue and pink or the blue and red robe to be used to break issues of communication within a relationship, sort of a road opener in that way for communication, as well as promote understanding and divine connection between you and your partner, or to bring a divine, spiritually minded partner to you who is good at communication. In addition, like using mirrors, mirror gazing with this robe while doing chakra work or like divine feminine energy clearing can be very, very effective with Santa Muerte. You can do love magic, glamour magic, divine feminine magic with Santa Muerte. You don't necessarily need to have her as a patron saint or deity or however you view her, and then also have another space over here for Aphrodite and Venus and all of these feminine figures that you want to use to tap more into that kind of magic. It can all be incorporated under her. I think because of the weight of Catholicism that has taken root in Santa Muerte and the cult, we tend to think of her as more of a divine mother figure like Mother Mary. And that's not who she is. It's not just reduced to a mother figure. I would also like to take a second to mention, now that I'm getting into the other colors of her robes, that there's quite an overlap with the 7 protections of Santa Muerte, with the 7 powers of African or Afro-traditional religions, because she is often used as a saint and a spiritual work within those traditions as well, due to the cultures intermixing and interacting way back in the day. So if you're starting to get into some of this and you're not educating yourself on different symbolism and the crossing over of cultures, and you're not being really careful about what kind of statues you're buying, what kind of tools you're using and things like that, you very well could be appropriating or using certain things that are not meant for you, perhaps, especially if you're wanting to be very respectful about not infringing on traditions that you really shouldn't be. This is the time to get really familiar with what ATR symbolism and tools and such within the occult look like so that you can avoid using those things. It's a good time to make friends so that you can learn and not fuck it up. And that concludes what I have to say about the blue robe. What color do you think I should do next?